you have no electricity in the house here? How many of the Dene people have to haul their water?
We were put in the boarding school.
They would get swapped on the palm of their hand with a ruler. That's how they used to treat us in boarding school if we talk our own language.
There's a lot of abuse when we were young. A lot of fighting. It was just like watching a violent movie.
So your cousin's parents got so drunk that the kids at 3 or 4 years old actually had to drive themselves back home. How is that even possible when they can't see over the steering wheel or even reach the pedals on their car? There was alcohol and child molestation?
There was a lot of that.
Do you have any solar panels on your house?
No.
Every night you take them inside the house so you have light?
Yes.
What do you do about water and where does it come from?
I left here when I was 16 years old. My mom was so abusive. I just wanted to leave here. I have Rabbi in my house.
What? Rockhopper here, and today I'm on the Navajo Nation here with Helen, and she's going to show you how she lives off-grid and her life out here. As people drive through the Navajo Nation in northern Arizona, at first glance they might perceive it as a stark and barren landscape, a bleak and hot desert, where a persistent wind blasts the region, one that becomes frigid in winter and slices bare skin and becomes furnace-like in the summer. But a closer look reveals a place of unique beauty. There is a palette of color to be seen in the land and in life forms here. There is more life here than one might imagine. It might seem a place barely suited to the animals living here, like the insects, lizards, snakes, and especially the wild horses roaming about. At first there may be no sign of these creatures, but if one studies the sand and sun-scorched rocks, one might notice tracks of insects, rabbits, and those of a lizard. Be patient and study the terrain closely, and you may see the inhabitants that make these tracks. It can be a harsh environment, but they are adept at surviving in it. And there is another inhabitant out here that is also a skilled survivor. Splintering off from the highway, there are lonely dirt roads, some meandering across the landscape and to the base of cliffs, some snaking between canyons, and a few leading to hidden oases. That's where you will find the residences of the people that inhabit this land, the Dene, known to most as the Navajo. The Navajo Nation encompasses some 27,000 square miles across Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah, and is roughly the size of West Virginia. The Dene are one of the few tribes that, after being forcibly removed from their land by the government in the 1860s, were eventually allowed to return to their ancestral lands. There are some 300,000 Dene living here, the largest population of any native people in the United States. I'm taking you to a special place so that you can meet some of them and learn how they live and hear what they've endured. We're heading to a tiny nook in the desert, a hidden oasis known as Munavi. One might wonder how people survive out here. Facilities are limited. There are a few who are on the grid, and there are those who are off-grid but have solar panels and such. And there are the others, quite likely the majority, who live a life almost absent from these things. No solar panels and no personal windmill to generate electricity, and not even running water. It is a place not only of beauty and artistic expression, but of pain. There is a dark underbelly to this land that few outside the region are aware of, a territory where unspeakable acts are committed. I'm going to give you a glimpse into another world. There won't be any sugarcoating here. This is living beyond off-grid. This is real life on the res. All right, Helen, so show us around your house. Let's go inside.
Oh my gosh, it's so messy inside.
You see outside?
I don't know where you... This is my sister Leona.
Hello.
She's recovering from a stroke recently.
And then this is my dirty house.
So you live off-grid, is that right? You have no electricity in the house here?
I just use solar.
Do you have any solar panels on your house?
No, we do not. Solar chargers for light.
Where are your lights?
They're outside in the sun.
Okay, so you bring them inside every every evening to light up the
Yes,
house?
I do.
So these are solar charged lights, and there's a lot of these around the property. So you have all these little solar lights out here charging. These ones right here, and you take these inside the house.
Yes.
So they're just scattered around the property then. And every night you take them inside the house so you have light.
Yes.
Okay.
We also have some apricots.
Apricot trees there.
There's some turning right.
And you got grapes over here, right?
Yes, grapes over here. There's apricots over there.
Some more apricots over there.
Yeah.
Out, apricot tree there. Okay. And then nice grapes.
Isyakin. That's the house under the trees. That's in our old Navajo language.
They call this Munavi.
Monavi.
Monavi.
Which also means running water because there's a lot of natural spring waters in this area.
And this is an apple tree behind you.
That's an apple tree.
That one right there.
Yes.
Okay, so you've got a lot of fruit trees growing here, a lot of vegetables too.
There's some squash right here.
So this is squash,
Squash and corn.
corn and squash. Okay. And what are these trees back
These
here?
are peaches. They
Oh, over
same as
there.
That one, yeah.
Peach
on
peach
that
trees
one.
over there.
Yeah.
Last time I was here, you had some monster squash.
Oh, I did. I had some monster squash. My nephew had brought some. He had big old thing of it hanging over his shoulder on the other side too. Yeah, it was awesome.
Because these squash were like 3 feet long, right?
Yes, huge.
And huge, like as big around as watermelons. That was massive.
Yeah.
Tell me about these grapevines here. How old are they? Like 15 years old?
These are like maybe like 30 years old. My mother started growing this from that tree right there, and she just started making a shade out of it, and it's been growing ever since. We prune it every few years, and they grow very good. They'll be ready the end of August. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of grapes right there.
Yep.
Just here's a little close-up of the grapes that are starting to come out. These are the grapevines. Gonna have a lot of grapes this year. So this house was built around 1962?
About 1969.
69.
Yes, because I'm born in 1961, which is later on it was built, added. Half of it was added on, but that part is older. I don't know how many years old.
So the original part was built
Yes,
in around
exactly.
62, maybe 61, maybe 69.
Part,
And then it was added on about 10 years later.
yes, yes.
Apricot trees and the guinea fowl cages right over here. What do we have back here? What are the
Here are some guinea hens.
guinea
They were given
hens?
to us from a friend of ours from Colorado City. He brought them, and they've been just kicking back here.
And their eggs are over here.
Yeah.
There's the
I don't think they'll hatch.
guinea hen eggs.
We grow our own food. We do a lot of corn mainly.
And this is the backdrop to it all, right behind her house. What do you do about water, and where does it come from?
Well, we have natural spring water. We have water continuously leaking from this faucet, but we have it running all the time to water some crops there. And the water actually comes from the canyon over here, out there where all the trees are. That's where the water comes out. Natural spring water coming out of the canyon there.
So it's just pure water coming straight out of the earth.
Yes,
And that comes right to your house.
yes.
So it just comes on right down into the house, and that's the water line just right over there, some of it. And inside goes through to the kitchen and the
Yes.
bathroom.
We have plumbing, yeah.
Oh, okay, let's have a look at that. So you've got a sink here.
Just natural spring water.
Beautiful. It's like the best you can possibly drink.
Yes.
And then can you show us the bathroom?
The bathroom It's dirty as usual.
Okay, so you have a full shower and toilet,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all with the spring water.
Yes.
And that's Rabbi the Rabbit, right?
Yes.
How did he get that name?
I don't know.
Just seemed like a fun name.
Yeah.
And that's where Rabbi the Rabbit lives.
I just recently moved back from Albuquerque and the place is still a mess. I haven't unpacked a lot of things.
Yeah, we hang out in here and sit for a while back in here, and got a kitchen table here. And over here, you got the wood stove, which comes in real handy in the winter because it does get cold here. And then Helen's bedroom is right over there. So this gives you a little bit of an idea. And the front door's right there.
That's Jackie.
And that's Jackie, the dog.
He loves to wink. It's run by propane. Just propane. And we just light up the stove with a lighter and just how we cook.
Okay, so since you have no gas line, you just have a propane tank there.
Yeah.
And you've got the propane stove right there, which cooks just like a regular gas stove. Little food pantry there. So this is your grill.
Yes, I made it the other night and it collapsed on me while I was cooking. So I have to fix it.
Well, it's got a little bit of an angle to it, I see.
I told you.
But it works pretty well, right?
Yes.
Because
It was,
you were cooking hot dogs on it last night.
Yes, we cooked some hot dogs last night, my brother did.
And then didn't you cook some mutton on there?
We cooked some mutton on it the other night, yeah.
A few days later, we're cooking chicken and turkey burgers on the grill. This is Sadie, and that's Jackie. And they like to play sometimes.
Sadie's getting old.
Here comes Leland. This is Helen's brother. Now this is Leyland, and he's got quite the garden here. So this is all grapes and corn and squash. Over here we got corn growing. And traditional Dene is corn, beans, and squash, right?
Trees like apricots, it's around corn to be right, and plum, grapes, and apple, peaches.
Apples, grapes, plums, peaches, all kinds of stuff, huh?
Sometimes wild asparagus in springtime.
Asparagus?
Yes, wild asparagus.
Leyland just told me that this plant is good for mosquito bites, stops the itching, so I'm going to take a little leaf of that and rub it on one of my mosquito bites. And this is where Leyland lives, back here. Shady little spot. You got some fruit, looks like some pears growing on these trees. So you're what would be considered off-grid too. Leyland just told me that this was an old school, probably maybe even going back to the late 1800s. He wasn't quite sure. And that little building back there was the teacher's residence.
Go down the height down here, on the chimney, height on the top, side of the water around here. 60, that was years, 67, 66. There's pretty water around here, we had height in it. And over here, there's a girl hiking down. There's a play walls down here, they play water, the water. And from the hill, too, from the hill, and you see, got through, da 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 da. Then you're not good, it's
Okay, we'll go in and have a look, I guess. Huh? So this was the old school.
the old teacher's house, you can see, he used to live, you know.
The teacher's house.
They'll build a fire, you know.
Oh yeah. This is the old teacher's house, and you look at the ceiling there, you see the big beams. of the wood. Yeah, alright, let's go in.
Make a good iron across. Well, right there and to put some bottom to them.
Stone construction. This was the bathroom and the shower here. There's your shower. And over here must have been like the living room, I guess, in here.
Kitchen.
Kitchen.
Stove, we see right here, stove.
Okay, the stove was there.
Closet,
Closet back there. Yeah, a fairly small place. This place did have electricity, as seen there, and electrical box up there.
I was near the quite bucket to the stove screen under it.
Oh, so you can't get in here, huh? Looks like it's locked. You can look in there, maybe. Can't see much. But this was the old school.
They tried to test near the test. The restroom in here, the restroom.
A restroom back there?
Yeah, in here. The kids wash them bathroom.
Your mom used to work here.
Take them ready for school, wash them.
Oh, wash the kids?
Yeah, wash the kids.
Clean them up?
Yeah.
And get them dressed and everything?
Yeah.
So this stopped operation around the 1960s.
After class, when they go home, if they're actually not doing it. And on this side of East Manalabi, school kids go home like that. They come here every morning, they start school.
Oh, okay.
It was back in the 50s, 40s, 30s, 40s.
So this was active through the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and probably stopped being used around the 1960s.
My sister went to school here, little ways from where we live now, where I live. Little ways.
Oh, your sister went to school here.
Yeah, she went to school here, and people I know them went to school here.
Oh, wow.
East side, one of it, they crawled up on a cliff tree or a straight cut or something. There's a trail underneath the east side. So I know. They come here to go to school too.
Here in the back of the school, got a little bread oven right there.
They jar apricots, jam, asparagus. They jarred them up.
So they canned all the apricots and asparagus and everything right here in this place right here. Wow.
So what's TV from the window?
There's a police officer who used to live in here.
We used to watch TV from the window.
He would watch TV by the window?
Yeah, what's not from outside, from here. And when they see me, come inside. I go inside. What's Raphael Man? What's the new movie? Raphael Man? I said, what's that? He's coming on for the Raphael Man movie.
So you watched the movie with him?
Yeah. Raphael Man.
Raphael?
Black and white TV that time.
Oh, yeah.
That time, I think it was 64, 63.
Yeah, 1964, watching black and white TV. Looks like they did a little cement work, 11-162. What was this building?
Generator.
Generator building.
Big generator.
Okay.
Lights out the building here, you know. Where's cars, where's good cities.
Oh, yeah.
But somebody took it, ripped it off.
Yeah, somebody took the generator. Right behind me here, this was another teacher's residence. How long have you lived here at this house?
Mostly all my life. I moved out of here when I was 18. I moved out to California. Then from then on, I've been moving a lot. So, but yeah, I come back. This is my home.
Were you born here?
I was born here.
Okay. And you've actually lived in numerous places in the States.
Muncie, Indiana. I've been in California, Denver, just Utah, Salt Lake. I moved around a lot. I like to travel.
Now, you're lucky because you have really good water and all you could ever want for free. And I just wondered how many of the Dene people have to haul their water because they don't have any sort of plumbing.
I think maybe like 80%. 80% they have to haul water.
Neighbors will come here to fill up their water jugs and barrels. Do they have interior plumbing of any sort? Do they put it in a holding
I
tank?
think they have outhouses. Yeah.
Okay, and as far as like kitchen sinks and stuff,
No.
nothing.
A lot of houses have put kitchen and bathroom, you know, but there's no one running water, so they don't use the sink or, you know, bathroom.
Most Dene houses don't have running water, don't have
Yes.
plumbing.
Yeah, but we're lucky. We have a lot of water here.
Unlimited water. That's great. Do you have hot water?
No, we do not have hot water, so we have to heat up our water on the stove.
Ah, so
Take
like,
baths or wash dishes.
do you have a septic tank here?
Yes, we do. And from my knowledge, I heard that it's backed up, so we just pee in the bathroom. And if I need to go number 2, I go into town. I have a cool place to show you.
All right, let's go. We'll follow Helen and see where she's taking us. Hey, cool. Looks like we got some petroglyphs. Check it out.
I don't know if these are bear paws. There's corn.
So where's the corn right there?
Corn.
And bear paws?
Bear paws.
Bear paws right there. Another corn there.
I think these are raindrops. I'm thinking.
Okay, so these might be raindrops there. Got a lizard there.
Here's another lizard.
What are these, do you know?
I'm trying to think. I'm not sure.
Quite a few petroglyphs here. I'm not sure what that is.
These are rabbits.
Rabbits right there?
Deer.
Oh, cool.
I think sheeps or goats. Corn. And clouds.
Those are clouds?
Mm-hmm.
Couple of suns, maybe? What are these right here, Helen?
They look like bear paws.
What's that one down there?
I'm not sure.
Some more corn up here.
Yeah.
Looks like a line dance of lizards right there. Where's the aliens and the flying saucer one?
I don't remember.
You actually saw a flying saucer when you were a kid, huh?
Yes, I have.
And you saw the alien beings come out of it?
Yeah.
And your dad started shooting at the alien beings, huh?
Yeah.
When they dropped their little drawbridge or whatever. Helen just told me that these represent UFOs. So this is an alien?
I think so.
That dude is an alien, possibly. Because I was hearing tales about how native people long ago did encounter aliens. Those are supposedly meteors.
These look like they're recently made, not by the original makers of these. These are new.
Something June 1813.
Look at these birds.
Here's a line of birds right there. Are these faces? Apparently they drank Monster back in prehistoric times. And played Pac-Man as well.
Yeah.
You have no refrigerator, no freezer, so when it's 100 degrees, as it is oftentimes, you just deal with it, right?
Yeah, I stay inside. But the natural spring water is really refreshing, so I wet my hair or just cool off, take a cool shower. Shower works, but just don't have hot water.
It's so hot here that the toothpaste I had on my dash exploded. Even Rabbi's hot. That's how hot the inside of my car is right now. It's 99 degrees out here.
Yate, Lou, Rez.
This is Joey, and he's stopped by to say hi. He's back, everything's good again now. He's in the hospital for a little bit, but feeling better now?
Yep, feel a lot better, a whole lot better today.
Alright, good to see you again, Joey. What are you making today, Helen?
I'm going to make some tortillas, so I'm going to prepare the dough right now.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Helen's cooking up some fry bread. She's gonna throw it in the skillet here.
Ooh.
There you go. And it's done.
Yep.
Alright. Looking good.
There it goes.
Looking really good.
You can eat it with honey or salt or just with your dinner.
Whatever you want, really.
And whatever you want.
Perfect. Put some honey on there. Good fry bread. How do you charge your phone?
I charge my phone with my car.
You just plug it in and you turn the car on?
Plug it in and turn the car on.
So where are we going?
Up the canyon where the water runs.
So we're going to the source of the spring.
Yes.
Cool, let's go. Looks like we're getting close to the source. This is the source of the spring that supplies Munavi with irrigation and drinking water. It comes right out of the side of this mountain right here. That's the source right there. Farther up canyon is another spring flowing right out of the mountain. This is what a hogan looks like, a traditional place where Dene people lived. And over there, a little sweat lodge. This is the traditional type sweat lodge right here. You can see the wood and the earthen covering. And inside, let me show you. So you heat up the stones, and then there's some water there, creates steam, and it's a fairly small structure, and you can fit maybe 4 people in here. So you heat up the stones here, get the fire going.
Yeah, and then just keep this water above level.
Yeah, keep the water going.
Yeah, and this is the bath area. Use these buckets to take bath. There's shampoo. Then this is where they lounge. They sit here, hold it while they're taking the sweat bath, which takes like maybe 3-4 hours. Yeah.
Okay, so the sweat line might be in the sweat for about 3 or 4 hours, then come out here and lounge and relax.
Yes.
This is a sweat lodge in a more modern style. And here's a close-up of another hogan. Just have a quick peek in there. And this is the inside of the hogan. See the wood stove in the middle? And you have stove over here.
Growing up here was hard.
Your parents were alcoholics?
There's a lot of abuse. We survived.
Because you had the crops?
We had the crops, you know. We had food to grow. That's what we survived on.
Because they were drinking so much?
All the time, yes. And a lot of times we were in a dorm, like in a dormitory, a boarding school. That's where we spent most of our lives. And when we came home, there was a lot of alcoholism.
So they didn't pay attention to you kids?
Yes,
They just drank, and you guys
drink all the time.
So
yes,
it's lucky you had the crops.
So when we had the crops. When there was no food, we were always running to the field to eat an apple, plum, grapes. Yeah. And I remember we used to take the salt to the garden and eat cucumbers. Sprinkle our salt on there, and that's what we survived on. And we have apple trees, apricot trees, we have peach trees. We are blessed. So we survive, you know. Mom and the older folks were always drinking. We lived in a dormitory. We didn't spend a lot of time with their parents when we were young.
A lot of fighting because
A lot of fighting. I mean, it was crazy. And we were just like, it was just like watching a violent movie.
Oh. Because of the alcoholism.
Because of the alcoholism. I don't think we've seen a lot of mom and dad growing up here because we always stayed in a dorm, in a dormitory. We came home, barely saw our parents because they were always drunk and fighting here. I always told myself as a young girl, when I become an adult, I'll never drink. I want to raise my kids. If I have kids someday, they're not going to know what alcohol is. And that pass. My kids don't drink. Go to church. I just feel like we survived the bad things, you know, growing up.
This is Alice, Helen's sister, and she's going to tell us a bit about life out here. Tell me about the boarding schools.
I was enrolled into the boarding school here in Tuba City area and back in 1964. And back then there was no preschool, no kindergarten. So we went to school, start school like calling it a beginner. And I went to Tuba City boarding school, and the first year I went there away from home. We stayed there, we eat, sleep, and stayed there in the dorm. And it was kind of scary to stay there away from home. And going to a boarding school, I went to a boarding school for about 7 years. And I stayed there, lived there, come home for the summer, come home for the winter time. And there at the boarding school, it was kind of scary because we cannot speak our own language. There, they tell us not to speak our native language like the Navajo. We cannot speak our Navajo language there at the boarding school. At the dorm, it was okay. But in the classroom, nobody can speak their native language. If they get caught speaking their Navajo language, the teacher would grab the student and put soap in their mouth. Of course, the kid would cry. Or sometimes they get spanking on the butt, or they would get swapped on the palm of their hand with a ruler. That's how they used to treat us in boarding school if we talk our own language. And at the dorm, we had to learn how to braid our own hair. As a little kid, we had to learn how to do that. And if you cannot braid your own hair, they cut it off. Shoulder length, that's what they do. They cut it off their hair. I remember my sister couldn't braid her own hair, so they cut it off. And she had a short hair, and my mom got so mad at the dorm mate for it. Yeah, she got mad because we cannot cut our own hair or cut our hair because we're saving our hair for a ceremony called kinarta. We have to have long hair to perform that ceremony for a girl. And my mom was so mad when they chopped my sister's hair off. And the boys, they would have all their hair shaved off all around. They would have it all shaved off except a little teeny piece right here. And the boys in class, they would call it the government handle. I guess when they get in trouble, the boys' dorm mate would grab them by the hair like this, and they would follow the hair wherever the dorm mate wanted them to, what they wanted them to do. So they called that the government handle. That's how boarding school life was. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Of course, if you don't go home on the weekend, we get to scrub the whole dorm. That was the dorm life in boarding school.
Child molestation?
There was a lot of that around this house. Growing up, this is what we grew up from. You know, that's what we came out from. There was a lot of child molestation. There's a lot of abusive, physical, sexual. You know, we grew up here in that lifestyle. It seems like when we came back from the boarding school on Fridays, we came home to people drinking here. Or they'll be passed out outside, over there under the tree here, you know. That's how we grew up here. There was good times when Mom was sober. She wove a lot. She was a weaver. She's one of the best weaver on the Navajo reservation. So if you go to trading post, if she was still here, you would only see her rugs. Now I have one rug that was given to me. That was her last rug. I can't bring it.
But the child molestation was all over.
That's all over. Yeah, that's all over. Not just with our family. I think every family you see, where there's alcohol, that comes along with it. A lot of physical abuse, sexual abuse, that's on the reservation. It's sad, especially that kids are growing up now.
We're getting a little more personal now.
Okay.
So tell me about, you grew up with alcoholic parents. Tell me a little bit about that.
I grew up here in Monavi. And my older siblings and my mom, my stepdad, they used to drink a lot. And they would have fun drinking, but after a while, they would end up fighting. And that was scary for us little ones. We would get abused by it a lot. And watching them fight, that was scary. And I was kind of like the oldest one raising the little ones, while my mom would be out there somewhere, maybe at a squad dance, or I don't know where she would go for the weekend, or for a week she would be gone. And I would take the little kids. I didn't know how to cook when I was little, and I used to take my little siblings up to my grandpa's house, and then we would eat over there, but we have to work for the food over there. Or down to my aunt's house, we would eat over there. Sometimes we stay overnight over there. The next morning we come back over here. And there would be nobody home every day. Sometimes I would notice that my mom's going to be leaving, and she would just make stacks of bread for us, maybe about that high. And I noticed that she's going somewhere, and we would munch on that bread and raw potatoes. I didn't know how to cook, so I had my siblings eat raw potatoes. They would sprinkle salt on it and then just munch on that potato. Or sometimes we have the field out there. We would just bring a bunch of apricots, apples back over here and just eat that.
So it was a kind of a rough childhood, one of alcoholism and violence.
Yep.
And
sometimes my mom would bring some people back over here, and they would drink, and watching that wasn't good. And right now, as old as I am, I say that I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to be different.
Well, you survived. You came through, made it through the other side. Yeah.
I left here when I was 16 years old. I didn't finish school. My mom was so abusive. I just wanted to leave here. I met a man much older than I was. I stayed with him. And then he became abusive also, so I had to leave him. But every now and then, I would come back and visit. Sometimes I would see my mom sitting by herself here under the shade. Sometimes I would see a bunch of people that I don't know that would be drinking. I would chase them away and say, go somewhere, don't drink here. I would chase them away. I don't even know who they are. Yeah, this place used to be like a party place. But I love coming back over here to Monawi. I was born here at home.
So your cousin's parents got so drunk that the kids at 3 or 4 years old actually had to drive themselves back home. How is that even possible when they can't see over the steering wheel or even reach the pedals on their car?
I remember my cousins used to drive the parents home. One would be sitting down there doing the clutch, the gas, and the brakes. And then one would be standing at the steering wheel steering, and then one would be doing the shifting.
So the kid down there would press with his hands
Yeah.
on the pedals.
And they all communicate. 2, 3 years old kids, my cousins.
2 or 3 years old. They would be driving this car at that age?
Yes,
A truck. Wow, it's amazing. But that's the only way they could get back home, right?
That's the only way they could get back home.
Because the parents were just passed out drunk.
Yes. Sometimes they would have to make it home in the middle of the winter when that happens.
Tell me about the hogans.
The round hogan, it's a round hogan with mud on top, and it's very cool during the summertime inside the hogan. The round hogan is called a female hogan. And then there's another one that's the back side would be round like this and pointed up like this, and there would be a chimney right up here, and then there would be the doorway would be a little bit closer together like this with a flat top. That is called the male hogan. That's how it was.
And this was the traditional living
That
space.
is a traditional, yes. Yes.
And one of the benefits to the round hogan is that there are no cold corners?
There's no corners, yeah. It's just round all the way.
So if you have a wood stove in the middle or a little fireplace, then
yes, they would have a wood metal stove, like a barrel cut in half. That would be their stove with a stovepipe sticking out the middle. With a male hogan, that's the same. No, they would have that.
Do you know, is it true that you can't use the wood from an old hogan to build a newer one?
That is true. You cannot. You cannot use the old hogan wood as firewood, because I guess it's kind of like what they used to live in. It's kind of like some people did a lot of ceremonies in their house, so they had a lot of herbs sprinkled on inside of the house, and they just don't use old houses as a firewood.
And so you
Old hogans.
don't use the old hogan wood as firewood or to build a new hogan.
It can be done. It can be used as a new hogan. When somebody dies in that house, in that hogan, it can't be reused. But some people these days they do it. They stay in that hogan. But back in the old days, when somebody passes away in that hogan, it's just left alone. They don't live in it anymore.
Are there
They either just put the whole hogan down.
Are there many people these days who still live in hogans?
No, not many people. The Navajo tribe, they would help them get houses. They try to put them in a community, like where they would have a lot of houses, and they would rent them out to them. So out there, out in nowhere, like farther away from town, they have their own houses. But they try to put them into the housing complex.
Tell me a little bit about, you have relatives in this area that do sheep herding, right?
My aunt that lives up there, they have sheep, and my aunt down here, they had sheep. But we never had sheep. We grew up on doing the farms. Farmwood planting, corn, squash, watermelon.
Oh, but some people did have the sheep. And
Yeah, some people did have sheep.
is that's one of the traditional things here, right?
Yes, some people, they have sheep, and that group of sheep, flocks, they go from one generation to the next generation. Like they pass it on. If the owner, like if your mom has sheep, they would give it to one of their kids to have sheep. But right now they can only limit to like 25 sheep these days. And long time ago, I guess they used to have lots of like 100 or something sheep like that. And then they didn't have a resident like this, like where we're at right now. They would travel with the sheep from one place to another, because for the sheep to get what they need to eat, graze them here, there. They would move around a lot with it back then.
Okay, so
Nowadays.
they had a nomadic lifestyle. And they would make mutton stew, maybe? Or eat mutton?
They would trade their livestock for something like, for here they would come bring a goat or a sheep, and then they would take some food from off our garden that we plant out there. We would trade. And people that have sheep, they come out and they trade it for food. We did have fun here also. Like this hill right behind me, we used to play over there, like we would play hide and seek, or we would play it on that hill. We made a trail around it, and we would just have fun over there. Or we would go way up there into the up into the mesa, and we would hike up there. We had our fun here. We had a lot of kids up at my grandpa's kids, and down here all my aunt's kids. We would go swimming over there. We have a pond over there. We all would go over there and have fun swimming. I could just hear everybody yelling. We did have fun over there at the pool. And right here at this open space right here, we used to play baseball and volleyball. The kids from our neighbor would come here, and we would have fun there. And here, when my older siblings, when they used to come, we used to have water fight. That was a lot of fun too. I had a sister that just used to have a water fight with us. She was a lot of fun also. Yeah, all my older siblings are gone. And me and my younger siblings are here. Sometimes we get together here and just have a cookout. Invite our niece, nephews, cousins. We would invite them and we would just have a cookout here for them. My sister Lorraine, she does a lot of cooking and she's just so interested in having people come over and just eat. We would buy sheep and we would just have them cook everything and just have them take the leftovers. Yeah, we do have fun like that. But I wouldn't want to live here.
Yeah, because you actually live in Utah now.
Yeah, we live in Utah for about, back in 1989. I think it was 32 years that I counted. We lived up in Utah, Beaver, Utah. And we have a house out in Tonalea. That's where we go home to when we're coming down from Utah. That's our home over there.
You want to share your bootlegger story?
Long time ago we used to. Here on the reservation, it's kind of hard to find a job and get money. We will get money from the Navajo Nation, but it's not enough to last a whole month. And finding a job here is out of the question. We can't get hired. We have to go after a reservation to find a job. Anyways, me and my husband, we started bootlegging. But we were not so good at bootlegging. We went to the Ayabiche dance up on the Gap Mesa. We sold some, but we got caught. Me and my husband, we got thrown in jail and our car got towed away. It got impounded. So that was probably the first and the last time we bootlegged.
And by the way, Helen and Alice here have another sister who's kind of camera shy, and her name is Lorraine. Jobs are quite limited out here on the Dene land, so people try to make money from doing little tours for tips and donations of the dinosaur tracks and such, or selling jewelry. You might stop by here and see Juanita. She's got some really nice jewelry she can sell you, and she makes it herself. Have a look at that. Alcoholism, domestic abuse, child molestation, drugs. There's a fair degree of diabetes, liver cirrhosis, and heart disease here, likely due to poor diet, overconsumption of alcohol, and various additional factors. Average life expectancy is lower than that of Caucasians. They come from a culture disrupted by the white man, who punished them for speaking their language in school and frowned upon them for wanting to stay connected to their culture. Yet through it all, they ultimately prevailed. As I explored the canyons and mesas, I felt a connection to this land, knowing that I was walking in the footsteps of those who had been here before me and drinking from the same waters that sustained their culture for many centuries. When you luxuriate in your 20-minute-long shower, maybe give thought to the people in other parts of the U.S. or other places in the world where people are happy just to have enough water to drink. They may not have what you do, but please refrain from judging them. We are all doing the best we can with what we've got to get through this thing called life. The Dene are a strong and resilient people. The ones you met today are survivors.
We survived.
They went through hell and came out the other side. I'm happy to call them my friends. I hope you enjoyed coming here to the Navajo Nation and learning a bit about the people who live here and seeing how they live. Don't forget to give me a like on the video, share, and subscribe. Until next time, this is the Rockhopper.
Look on that.